The King of Cool. The man who redefined the anti-hero archetype, Steve McQueen, wasn't just a movie star. He was a cultural force. With those piercing blue eyes and a quiet, rebellious charm, he embodied a rugged independence that mesmerized audiences throughout the 1960s. From his stoic turn as the escape artist lieutenant in The Great Escape, to the sharp, no-nonsense cop in Bullet, and the coldly calculating driver in The Getaway, McQueen cemented himself as Hollywood royalty. But behind the cool exterior and the fast cars was a man shaped by pain, loneliness, and a childhood that left deep scars. His son would later reveal the striking contrast between the tough-as-nails image the world adored and the deeply wounded man who lived off-screen. Could the icon who seemed to have it all have been hiding a silent struggle all along? Stay with us till the end to uncover the truth behind Steve McQueen's remarkable yet troubled life. Terrence Stephen McQueen was never destined for an easy start. Born in Indiana on March 24, 1930, his early years were anything but stable. His mother, Julia Ann Crawford, worked tirelessly just to get by, while his father, a thrill-seeking circus stuntman named William McQueen, abandoned the family before Steve turned 1. With no father and an overwhelmed mother, little Steve was sent to live with his grandparents in Missouri. It was on his great-uncle Claude's farm that McQueen found his first glimpse of peace. He often spoke fondly of Claude, a hard-working, fair man who once gave him a red tricycle for his 4th birthday. McQueen would later say that tricycles sparked his lifelong passion for speed and machines. But stability never lasted long in his life. At 8, he was uprooted and sent back to Indianapolis to live with his mother and her new husband, a move that turned out to be disastrous. His stepfather was cruel and abusive, often beating young Steve. The emotional wounds ran even deeper than the physical ones. Feeling unloved and unwanted, McQueen ran away from home at just 9 years old. The streets became his classroom. He fell in with delinquents, surviving through petty theft and small-time crimes. His mother, unable to handle him, eventually sent him back to Missouri. Yet even the kindness of his uncle Claude couldn't quiet the storm brewing inside. By age 12, he was back in Los Angeles, where his mother had remarried again, this time to another violent man. McQueen's defiant nature led to constant clashes. After one particularly brutal beating, he snapped and threatened his stepfather's life. Searching for belonging, he joined a street gang, sinking deeper into trouble. When he was caught stealing hubcaps, his stepfather's response was savage, a severe beating followed by throwing him down a flight of stairs. That was the breaking point. His mother sent him away to the California Junior Boys Republic in Chino, a reform school for troubled youth. Life there was tough. The strict discipline and rigid rules clashed with his rebellious spirit. Bullied and isolated at first, McQueen slowly began to change. The structure, the order, it started to shape him. He eventually earned the respect of his peers, even getting elected to the Boys' Council, which helped govern the institution. Years later, after achieving fame, McQueen often returned to speak to the boys there, reminding them that no matter how rough the beginning, redemption was always possible. When he left at 16, he still had a long, hard road ahead. Determined to find direction, McQueen enlisted in the U.S. Marines in 1947, though the decision would bring more struggle than success. His rebellious streak immediately clashed with military discipline. He was promoted to private first class and demoted back to private 7 different times for insubordination and going AWOL. In one notorious incident, he disappeared for 2 weeks with a girlfriend and ended up serving 41 days in the brig for resisting arrest. But hitting rock bottom changed something in him. Maybe it was maturity, or maybe the Marines finally broke through his defiance. McQueen started to channel his restlessness into focus. During an Arctic exercise, he risked his life to save 5 Marines trapped in a sinking tank, a defining moment that earned him an honorable posting aboard President Truman's yacht, the USS Williamsburg. The once reckless rebel now stood proudly in polished boots, learning the discipline and pride of hard-earned respect. When McQueen was honorably discharged in 1950, he wasn't the same boy who had run wild through the streets. He wasn't tamed, not completely, but he had learned control, purpose, and the strength to direct his chaos. The Marines hadn't erased his demons, but they had taught him how to fight them. After receiving his Marine discharge in 1950, Steve McQueen wasn't looking to settle into a quiet, respectable life. What he needed was quick cash, and he wasn't afraid to cross lines to get it. Using his street smarts, he briefly worked as a getaway driver for a small-time theft ring and even dabbled in the illegal gun trade. It wasn't glamorous, just dangerous and desperate, a reflection of a man still trying to outrun his past. But deep inside, something was shifting. The GI Bill gave him an opportunity to start over. And in 1951, McQueen moved to New York City, enrolling at Sanford Meisner's neighborhood playhouse. Acting wasn't about fame for him, it was about tapping into raw emotion, something he had plenty of from his turbulent childhood. Still, survival came first. To make ends meet, McQueen hit the motorcycle racing circuit on weekends, tearing across dirt tracks in Long Island City. The prize money helped, but what really hooked him was the speed, a cleaner, more controlled kind of danger. His first acting job came in 1952, a tiny role in a Yiddish play where he spoke just one line, probably without even knowing what it meant. Acting had yet to become his passion. It was just a means to survive. When the GI Bill funds dried up, he juggled odd jobs and classes, studying under the legendary Stella Adler, where he crossed paths with future stars like Gia Scala. By 1955, McQueen caught his first real break, a role on Broadway in A Hatful of Rain. It wasn't stardom, but it gave him credibility. Later that year, he packed his bags for California, chasing bigger opportunities. He crashed on a friend's couch in Echo Park, worked as a mechanic for cash, and hustled for any acting work he could find, even appearing as a guest judge on the TV show Jukebox Jury. His manager, Hilly Elkins, saw star potential in the rough-edged newcomer with piercing blue eyes. Elkins landed McQueen a small part in the 1956 film Somebody Up There Likes Me, and soon after, low-budget B-movies began rolling in. Then, in 1958, came The Blob, his first leading role. It was campy, but it got him noticed. That same year, everything changed with Wanted, Dead or Alive. McQueen's portrayal of bounty hunter Josh Randall, stoic, brooding, and unpredictable, struck a chord with audiences. The show ran from 1958 to 1961 and made McQueen a household name. Randall's quiet toughness mirrored McQueen's own life, and fans couldn't get enough of it. But success didn't calm his restless spirit. His old racing buddy, Robert Culp, helped him land a role in Never So Few, and it was Frank Sinatra himself who insisted McQueen get his fair share of screen time. When the film released in 1959, McQueen's Hollywood ascent officially began. The 1960s cemented his superstardom. His role in The Magnificent Seven made him an icon, though he famously clashed with lead actor Yul Brynner. McQueen's subtle tricks, like flipping his shotgun or adjusting his hat, were designed to steal the audience's attention, and they worked. Brynner hated it, but director John Sturges loved McQueen's charisma and soon cast him in The Great Escape, 1963. That film and the legendary motorcycle jump made McQueen a global sensation. Though ironically, insurance wouldn't let him perform the stunt himself. His friend Bud Eakins did it. Still, McQueen's name was forever linked to one of cinema's most iconic moments. He proved his dramatic depth that same year opposite Natalie Wood in Love with the Proper Stranger, showing there was more to him than the tough guy image. More hits followed: Nevada Smith, 1966, The Cincinnati Kid, 1965, and The Sand Pebbles, 1966, which earned him his only Academy Award nomination. Then came Bullitt in 1968, the movie that redefined cool. Its San Francisco car chase became legendary, and while McQueen did some of his own driving, his stuntmen Bud Atkins and Lauren Janes handled the most dangerous parts. Warner Bros. Loved the box office numbers, but his constant delays and perfectionism led them to cancel his contract. Unfazed, McQueen struck out independently, making The Thomas Crown Affair, 1968, a slick, stylish departure that showcased his range. Not every film worked. The 1971 racing epic Le Mans flopped, though it later became a cult favorite. He rebounded with Junior Bonner, 1972, a tender rodeo drama, and then reteamed with director Sam Peckinpah for The Getaway, 1972, another box office hit. By 1973, with Papillon, he had reached the height of his career, portraying a wrongly convicted man's desperate fight for freedom. By then, Steve McQueen was the highest paid actor in Hollywood, yet the fame didn't fulfill him. In 1974, he starred in The Towering Inferno, originally meant for Paul Newman. Determined to match Newman's star power, McQueen demanded extra dialogue and equal billing, and got it. The film was a massive hit, but McQueen had grown tired of the Hollywood grind. Afterward, he withdrew from the spotlight, retreating into the one thing that had always brought him peace: racing. For McQueen, the roar of a motorcycle engine wasn't just noise, it was freedom. Steve McQueen briefly resurfaced in 1978 for the Ibsen adaptation An Enemy of the People. A bold move that showed just how far he'd come from his action hero persona. His final two films, Tom Horn, 1980, and The Hunter, 1980, were gritty, introspective stories that mirrored his own turbulent life journey. His star was still bright, but fame hadn't made him any easier to work with. Throughout his career, McQueen turned down some of Hollywood's biggest opportunities, sometimes because of scheduling conflicts, often out of pure stubbornness. He missed out on Breakfast at Tiffany's due to his Wanted Dead or Alive contract, passed on Ocean's 11, and famously rejected Butch Cassidy in The Sundance Kid because he and Paul Newman's teams couldn't agree on top billing. The list of roles he declined is staggering. The Driver, Apocalypse Now, Dirty Harry, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. McQueen said no to them all. Sometimes he didn't like the script. Other times he just refused to play by Hollywood's rules. In 1966, he was supposed to star as race car driver Peter Ruin in Grand Prix, but a disastrous meeting with director John Frankenheimer killed the deal. The part went to James Garner instead, and though the two were neighbors, McQueen refused to speak to him for over a year. Garner would later describe him as Crazy McQueen, a man who could hold a grudge but still command respect. Even Steven Spielberg wanted him for Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977. McQueen was flattered but turned it down, admitting he couldn't cry on cue. Spielberg offered to cut the crying scene entirely, but McQueen still refused, a testament to his self-awareness and stubborn integrity. When director William Friedkin wouldn't let McQueen's wife, Ali MacGraw, serve as a producer on Sorcerer, 1977, McQueen walked away from the project. The film bombed, and Friedkin later admitted that McQueen's star power might have saved it. He always had a sharp eye for interesting projects. In the 1960s, he considered starring in The Diamond Smugglers, a proposed James Bond-style thriller based on an Ian Fleming book. He was also approached for The Gauntlet, 1977, opposite Barbra Streisand, but their clashing personalities doomed the project. McQueen even eyed the role of John Rambo in First Blood, but by that time he was too old to play the part that would later launch Sylvester Stallone's career. Even as his health declined, studios still wanted him. He was offered leading roles in The Bodyguard, opposite Diana Ross, and Quigley Down Under, but his time was running out. The roles he passed on became legendary, proof that McQueen's magnetism was unmatched even when he chose to walk away. His romantic life was just as intense and chaotic as his career. While studying under Stella Adler in New York, McQueen dated actress Gia Scala. In 1956, he married Filipino actress and dancer Neil Adams. They had two children, Terry, born 1959, and Chad, born 1960. Tragically, Terry passed away in 1998. But Chad's son, Stephen R. McQueen, would carry on the family's acting legacy with roles in The Vampire Diaries and Chicago Fire. By the late 1950s, however, McQueen's reputation as a womanizer was already well established. Actress Mamie Van Doren claimed to have had an affair with him, and in the early 1960s, model Lauren Hutton was also linked to him. His marriage to Adams was falling apart by the early 1970s. In 1971, while filming Junior Bonner, McQueen began a relationship with co-star Barbara Lee. When she became pregnant, she chose to have an abortion. Later, Adams revealed in her autobiography that she too had undergone an abortion earlier in their marriage, during a time when things were already strained. The couple divorced in 1972. That same year, McQueen met actress Ali MacGraw on the set of The Getaway. MacGraw, fresh off the massive success of Love Story, was married to Hollywood power producer Robert Evans at the time. She knew McQueen was trouble, even calling herself obsessed, but she couldn't resist. Their affair made headlines, and MacGraw divorced Evans soon after. McQueen and MacGraw married in 1973, But the romance quickly soured. McQueen's controlling nature took over. He made her sign a prenuptial agreement and demanded she quit acting to become a traditional housewife, caring for his children and their son, Josh. For a time, they found happiness, but his old demons soon resurfaced. McQueen began drinking heavily, using drugs, and once again, rumors of infidelity followed. The king of cool was still running this time from the one thing he could never escape, himself. Ally McGraw struggled with her own battle against alcohol, and by 1977, the strain had completely fractured their marriage. When she told McQueen she wanted to return to acting, he gave her an ultimatum: either stay home or face divorce. Ignoring his threats, McGraw chose her independence, taking a role in Convoy, 1978. They briefly reconciled, but it didn't last. By the end of that year, their divorce was final. In later years, McGraw would express regret that she and McQueen never found sobriety together, believing that if they had, they might have saved their marriage. Despite the turmoil, McQueen's story wasn't over yet. On January 16, 1980, less than a year before his death, he married model Barbara Minty. In her memoir, Steve McQueen: The Last Mile, Minty revealed that in his final months, McQueen underwent a profound spiritual change, becoming an evangelical Christian under the influence of his flight instructor, Sammy Mason, in Mason's family. McQueen's life was filled with narrow escapes, but none more chilling than the night of August 9, 1969, the night of the Manson family murders. Sharon Tate, her unborn child, and 4 others were brutally killed by Charles Manson's followers. McQueen was supposed to be there that night. His then-wife, Nile Adams, later shared that McQueen had been invited, but skipped the gathering after a last-minute change of plans, choosing instead to meet another woman. That impulsive decision likely saved his life. From that day forward, he became deeply paranoid, insisting Adams carry a gun for protection. Even those loosely connected to the tragedy weren't spared the horror. Actress Candice Bergen and her boyfriend, Terry Melcher, who had previously lived in the same house where Tate was murdered, also came terrifyingly close to danger. By the late 1970s, McQueen's rebellious spirit and iron will could no longer shield him from fate. What began as a persistent cough turned into a devastating diagnosis: mesothelioma, a rare cancer caused by asbestos exposure. He suspected it came from multiple sources: his movie sets, his racing suits, or perhaps even his time in the Marines, where he had stripped asbestos from ship pipes. The cruel irony was undeniable. The very discipline the military had instilled in him may have sown the seeds of his death. By 1980, the cancer had spread aggressively. Doctors told him there was nothing to be done, but McQueen refused to surrender. His stubborn determination took him to Mexico, to a controversial clinic run by William Kelly, whose unconventional treatments, coffee enemas, strange injections, and untested therapies offered a faint glimmer of hope. The procedures were painful, costly, and medically unsound, but McQueen was desperate. When the media discovered his secret treatments, his private fight became tabloid fodder. Despite his attempts to hide his failing health, it was clear the King of Cool was fading fast. In October 1980, McQueen returned to Mexico for one final risky surgery to remove tumors. He checked in under a false name to avoid attention, but the effort was in vain. Just 12 hours after the operation, on November 7, 1980, Steve McQueen's heart gave out. He was 50 years old. The world mourned the loss of a legend, but for his son, Chad McQueen, the pain was deeply personal. He remembered his father's playful side, the man who would cannonball into the pool and make it seem like he could walk on water. Those simple, joyful moments were what Steve cherished most. Chad would go on to honor his father's legacy, both in acting and in racing. Like his dad, he had his own brush with tragedy, a near-fatal crash in 2006 that left him severely injured. But he recovered, proving he shared his father's grit and resilience. Steve McQueen's life was no fairy tale. It was filled with contradictions: addiction, loss, rebellion, and a late-in-life search for redemption. Yet through it all, he remained magnetic, a man defined by both his flaws and his fierce independence. In his final year, as he sought faith and peace under the guidance of figures like Billy Graham, McQueen revealed a side the world rarely saw: a man searching for meaning beyond fame and adrenaline. Chad still feels that connection today. Through his work, his family, and his love of speed, he carries his father's spirit forward. Because some bonds, like the one between Steve and Chad McQueen, are too strong for even death to break. If this story moved you, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have your own memories or favorite moments of Steve McQueen, share them in the comments below.